Hours ago, former President Trump announced his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and also officially became the Republican Party's nominee for president. All this comes less than 48 hours after an attempt on the former president's life at a Pennsylvania rally. We now know that local law enforcement was responsible for looking over the building where the shooter was perched. And the FBI has the suspect's cell phone. We're going to verify what we know about the shooter in about 15 minutes. Thanks for being here. I'm Kay Quinn. A few hours after the RNC began, its trajectory was solidified by both Trump's nomination for VP and confirmation of the Republican Party's nomination for president. Former President Trump hit that threshold with votes from his home state of Florida. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Milwaukee.
A Republican National Convention like no other, kicking off under the shadow of the attempted assassination of former President Trump and the spotlight of the political world.
All of its 40 votes for President Donald J. Trump.
The roll call of states officially naming Donald J. Trump as the Republican nominee for president. And in a highly anticipated move, announcing his running mate, Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio. The celebratory traditions in Milwaukee coming just 2 days after the raw horror of a nationally witnessed assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. Supporters sending prayers from Milwaukee.
It may have made us more resolved.
Energized Republicans further buoyed by a federal judge in Florida dismissing the classified documents case against the former president. The Trump-appointed judge not ruling on the merits of the case, but citing technical grounds in how special counsel Jack Smith was appointed. The Justice Department is expected to appeal while it's focused now on the attempted assassination. The FBI today searching the home of the 20-year-old shooter, looking for clues to his motive and investigating how he was able to climb onto a roof 150 yards from former President Trump and fire multiple shots hitting him in the ear. Jason Isha was there.
Thousands of people started running, sprinting, screaming, crying.
He and his wife now hoping heated political rhetoric will tone down.
We want to see it on our side too. We want to see it on everybody's side.
In an Oval Office address, President Biden called on Americans to reject political violence and unite, a message former President Trump is expected to drive home during this week's convention. In Milwaukee, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Stay with 5 on your side for the latest news from the Republican National Convention all this week. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, will report live from Milwaukee. Look for his daily reports on 5 on your side at 5, 6, and 10. Also tonight, an NBC exclusive interview with President Joe Biden. You can catch a preview of the one-on-one with Lester Holt tonight during NBC Nightly News at 5:30 and watch the full interview tonight at 8 right here on 5 on your side. Missouri State Senator Bill Eigel, who is running for Missouri governor, wrapped up a rally and prayer service just a few hours ago. Supporters packed into the Soda Museum on Main Street, St. Charles for the event. Eigel called on Missourians to pray for the nation in a show of support for Trump following Saturday's violence. Eigel then left for the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee.
And obviously we're very excited. There's a lot of good patriots up there in Milwaukee already that have started the process, but in just a few hours from right now I'm going to be casting one of my votes as a delegate to the convention to nominate Donald J. Trump for the Republican Party, and I believe the next president of the United States.
Other candidates in the GOP race for Missouri governor have voiced their support for the former president since the attempted assassination. Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe said, quote, "It's more important now than ever that we come together as Americans and not let this heinous act of violence against President Trump and his supporters threaten the freedoms that so many have fought to defend." Fellow Republican gubernatorial candidate Jay Ashcroft shared his experience, saying, quote, "My family and I joined our congregation at church yesterday in praying for the president. We will continue to do so, and we are encouraged by his response to the attempt on his life." All right, we are in a weather impact alert, a heat advisory in effect. Let's take a live look at Main Street, St. Charles, where it feels like it's 108 degrees. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell here to let us know when we'll get some relief. Scott?
For most of us, Kay, I think that relief is going to come as we head into late this evening and through the overnight hours. South of St. Louis, you may have to wait until tomorrow evening. Right now, it is a scorching sun that is across St. Louis. Most of us have temperatures that are in the mid-90s, but take into account the humidity and put those numbers together, and it feels like it's between 105 and 110 degrees in most spots. There are a few localized areas where it's a little higher than that, especially in the areas where you're close to cornfields. Those humidity levels are quite high. The heat advisory for the metro area and for the majority of our area will expire at 8 o'clock tonight. And of course, we all know that heat affects anyone without effective cooling, especially our seniors, our older folks, and those in the urban core or in outlying areas that don't have access to air conditioning. You need to stay hydrated during this time. Our body's only way of cooling itself outside of being in AC is through sweating. And so you need to be basically staying hydrated so you can sweat. That heat advisory is extended for areas south of St. Louis into tomorrow. We'll see what these thunderstorms up in Iowa do as we head through the nighttime hours tonight. That will impact our weather because the storm chances will increase overnight into tomorrow. Some of those storms may have some gusty winds or downpours, but the storm timing and placement, we're still quite a bit uncertain on exactly where those boundaries will be early tomorrow morning, but we're confident in St. Louis that it won't be as hot tomorrow as it is today. We'll see you in a few minutes, Kate. We'll talk about even cooler weather later this week.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Scott. New information about a shooting during a North St. Louis County church service. Today, we're getting an inside look at what happened when gunshots rang out Sunday. 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend shows us the chilling video you will only see here.
It's a normal service.
But Pastor Ernest Howard says about 30 minutes after his wife and their praise team at Brothers and Sisters in Christ Fellowship started singing Sunday morning, gunshots rang out inside their sacred place at this church in Bell Fountain Neighbors.
So when I heard the gunshots, I was actually sitting on the keyboard and my wife was up getting ready to bring me to the stage.
At any point, were you scared?
No, get everybody protected.
He immediately told about 30 screaming, scared church members to take cover because a gunman was feet away outside their small sanctuary in a hallway.
I told everybody to get down over here in the corner, down. We opened the closet door for some of the smaller children.
I seen fear on everyone's face. So that prompted me to try to get them calm, get the children to safety.
Pastor Howard told police the armed man approached one of his security guards from behind, and within moments, a shootout occurred.
He pointed a gun to his head, and at that point, he said they began to tussle. And then that's when he was able to get away from him. They began to trade gunfire. The guy shot at him first.
Pastor Howard says when the gunfire finally stopped, the suspect ran down this hallway, bolted out of this back door, and hopped in a car with his wife and 2 children. What's more, he tells me the couple left behind 2 other kids, about 3 and 15 years old. The blessing?
I am thankful that we all survived.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Now, police are still looking for the gunman. Pastor Howard says he will increase security at the church as a result of the shooting. A woman is dead after a traffic accident in Eureka. Troopers were called to Highway 109 near Interstate 44 around 5:30 this morning. You can see a truck flipped on the side of the road. A second vehicle appears to have front end damage. The woman's name has not been released. The man who was in the truck was taken to a hospital.
There's a large amount of traffic that goes through here. Fortunately, right now it's not school time because Eureka High School sits just north of here, which should add to that congestion. But there is a large amount of congestion here at this interchange, and we do tend to get a large number of vehicle accidents here on a regular basis.
The cause of the accident is still unknown. Today, a man accused of killing 2 people in 2021 pled guilty. Tyler Terry was given a life sentence. 2 years ago, he went on the run with his girlfriend Adrienne Simpson after killing Barbara Goodkin and Dr. Sergei Zakharev, both in St. Louis County. Both suspects were later found in South Carolina after committing 2 more murders in that state and 1 in Tennessee. Family members of the victims were in the courtroom today.
As Mr. Zakharev said, we're just happy that we can help him close that chapter, or as he said, burn the file so that he can move on with his life and his family.
Terry also got life sentences in Tennessee and South Carolina for his crimes there. 5 on Your Side's Megan Kernan will have more from the courtroom tonight on 5 on Your Side at 6. Coming up, 48 hours after the attempted assassination of former President Trump, we are still waiting to hear more about the suspected shooter. We verify what investigators have confirmed and what's still unknown. And this is only a drill, why you might see military vehicles and heavy equipment around Busch Stadium this week.